I sell a lot of these crushed glass and resin Christmas trees during the fall and winter art shows, and prep starts now. In today's video, I want to show you how you can use various materials as your base and how to prepare them for success. So let's get crafting. Whatever you use, you're going to want to make sure it is sealed, because if you're going to be working with epoxy, you definitely want your wood sealed. This one I've actually painted with just some leftover paint. This is a fence picket. It's nice and weathered. It's sanded. I've painted it and sanded it and distressed it. This is a piece of driftwood I found on the beach. It is clean-ish. I'm going to have to seal it. This is just a little piece of wood that I was experimenting with a pattern on. I'm just going to cover this up. Sealed canvas from Dollar Tree. I've already painted it over with some gesso, which is a sealer. And then just a floor tile, so we're going to use that. This one we don't have to seal, so we're just going to put the glass directly on that. I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to put the glass directly on here, cover this up. We're going to seal this one. Okay, so I'm going to seal this with Mod Podge. I have Mod Podge, and this is just the matte Mod Podge in a squirt bottle. It just makes it a little bit easier to manage. The nice thing about the Mod Podge is I don't have to wait for it to dry. This just seals the paint, because what can happen when you put resin on top of bare wood, it stains the wood, it makes it look dark, and it makes it just not look very good. Okay, and I think what I want to do with this one, the canvas is a little bit bare. I don't want to paint the canvas anymore, but I do want to give it a little bit of color. So I set these aside. I'm going to do something really simple. I just have a little nail cleaning brush and then some blue paint. And this is probably Dollar Tree paint. Okay, now I got a blue finger. I look like a Smurf. I crush the glass myself. These are wine bottles, beer bottles, and you have to be careful. You could wear gloves if you want to. This glass is not super sharp. I mean, it is sharp if you were to, squeeze it or run your hand on it, but it's not so sharp that you're going to get cut all the time. So I haven't sifted it. I have big pieces, small pieces. I'm probably going to need to sift out some of the bigger pieces, put it in a little bowl to crush again. Let's do this one first, that I can just scoop it out. Lay it on here, just like that. Not so thick. Probably going to have to take some of this off. And then I'm going to use a straight edge. This is just a paint stick. And this kind of gives me a nice edge to bring my glass in straight. Then I can kind of see where I have gaps. A very organic look. There's different shades of green. It's not all one shade, which I really like. Set this one aside. I need to bring it down a little bit, don't I? There we go. Forgot about the star. Push this one out a little bit. Got some stray pieces of blue in there. Don't know where those came from. Okay. Okay. This one, I'm going to use some white glass. Boy, I did not sift this very much, but that is okay. Get out of there, leaf. Okay, let's get our bottom nice and straight. I need to cover the mermaid tail there. You know what? I need to sift this a little bit. See how there's a lot of the loose, very fine dust in there? If I put resin on this, it's just going to get muddy and clumpy, and it's not going to look good. So, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I have a two-part system for sorting the crushed glass. I first run it through a plastic colander with smaller openings to remove the fine dust and the teeny tiny pieces. And then I run it through another plastic colander that has larger openings, but you can see that I probably need another one because this one is falling apart, but it works and it works for me. So whatever. I did decide to paint over the mermaid tail with some blue acrylic paint because I thought that the tail was going to show through the glass. This may not have been the best idea, but I did put the glass on while the paint was still wet. Was this a mistake? I don't know, probably, but you'll just have to stay to the end to find out. I'm really excited about this skinny driftwood piece because it reminds me of a tall cedar tree. I did find this piece of driftwood on the beach during one of my walks, and it will be a really cool story to tell a customer. Blue glass is probably my most favorite to work with because it's just so colorful, and once the resin is on there and I add embellishments, it is really, really stunning. I'm using Let's Resin's Fast Cure for this project and mixing up enough to allow for about 40 milliliters per tree. That's plenty to fully saturate each tree. I'm also using the Let's Resin mini mixer, which is really a hand saver, let me tell you. I'm using a silicone spatula that I got at the Dollar Tree to help me drizzle the resin all over the glass and make sure each piece is completely covered with the resin. This method works really well for me, and I do not ever skimp on the resin. I make these to sell, and I definitely don't want pieces of glass to fall off after a customer buys one and walks away. So don't try to save money by using less resin. In the long run, it will end up costing you. Now for the ornaments. I use all kinds of things like these fake pearls from Dollar Tree. And the red seed beads are really some of my favorite things to use, especially on the green glass. The red really just stands out on that green. But you can literally use anything. Just use your imagination, get creative. Every tree gets a star, and I like to use a lot of resin molds that I've made previously with leftover resin. But my favorite stars are these starfish that I get on Amazon. I really just love them. And I just use a little bit of leftover resin from the bottom of my cup and just stick them right on there. And then for trunks, because every tree needs a trunk, I do like to use driftwood pieces that I find on the beach, and then sometimes shells. So this is, I think, a little piece of a weathered conch shell that I have, and I just like to use a lot of things that I find on the beach because these are, beachy Christmas trees, not your normal Christmas tree. Forgot to mention that I did add resin to cover the canvas for the blue tree, but I noticed that resin is forming some fish eyes, which is when the resin separates from the surface, creating bare spots. So here's a clever way to cover those up. I just sprinkled on some more of the very fine crushed glass on top, and you don't even notice the fish eyes. This resin is not really meant to be a coating resin, so the fish eyes don't really surprise me at all. The resin did leak through in a few spots, but not too bad. I'm just adding sawtooth hangers on the back of these two so they can hang on the wall if someone wants to, and the other two already have hangers. And here is what they look like when they are fully dry. I was a little bit worried about the one I painted with the blue paint, but the end result really surprised me a little bit. I think the key to that one was adding a lot of resin so it almost looks like a solid piece of fused glass. Now, I make and sell about 100 of these at fall and winter markets. So I only have 96 left to go, but really had a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun making these. They're all different. I probably will sand that off. They're all different. I make them all completely different, and so I'm just gonna have fun with it. Mr. Krabs definitely approves.